It started at a flea market, the kind run by people who never blink and sell VCRs that only rewind. I was sifting through sun-warped plastic bins of unlabeled tapes when I found it. A blank white clamshell case with the words, Toy Story Q, written in faded red marker. No studio logo, no runtime, just a sticky label half peeled off the back that read, for promotional screening only, not for sale or exhibition, property of Pixar. The question mark was underlined twice. I'm not a collector of oddities. I'm not one of those lost media freaks who dig through dumpsters for rumors of banned Muppet reels or nuclear war PSAs voiced by Mr. Rogers. But something about this tape stuck in my fingers like a splinter. I took it home, the tape. I had to dust off my old VCR, and even then it spat the tape out twice, before finally accepting it like a reluctant priest swallowing a communion wafer. The screen buzzed. No logos. No fanfare. Just the words. Toy Story Q. Pilot demo. Do not duplicate. The video quality was off. It looked like something made for early cable access. Grainy. Desaturated. Flickering like a dying light bulb. Andy's room was recognizable, but wrong. The colors were too muted, the shadows too long, and there were more toys than I remembered. Way more. They lined the walls like silent witnesses. Unmoving. Watching. Then the camera panned down and revealed a man sitting cross-legged in the middle of the floor. Not Andy. A full-grown man in a poorly fitted child's shirt that read Andy in crayon letters. His eyes were too wide, his jaw slack. He reached toward a plastic Woody doll, fingers trembling like he wasn't sure what fingers were for. I'm Andy, he whispered. I'm Andy, right? You remember me? Woody didn't move. Not yet. Buzz sat behind him, visor cracked. Then came the laugh track. A canned audience roared with delight at nothing. The interruption. I remember watching that man rock back and forth, whispering, I'm Andy, over and over. I remember the toys finally blinking. But then my stomach growled. I had half a chimichanga left over from lunch, and like a fool, I microwaved it and kept watching. As I took the second bite, something shifted. My gut turned like an elevator cable had snapped. Cold sweat beaded down my neck. By the time the third bite hit, I knew something was wrong. I paused the tape. I'll spare you the details, but let's just say it wasn't subtle. I staggered to the bathroom. My vision blurred. My ears rang. I felt like I was being emptied. When I returned 20 minutes later, pale and half hollow, the screen was static, except for Woody, who now stood center frame, unmoving, staring directly at the camera. All the other toys sat in a circle around the man, who was lying on his side, mumbling. Buzz's voice, faint and glitchy, whispered, He's not right inside. He needs rewinding. I pressed play again. The descent. What followed was like a fever dream soaked in glue. Toys began to move on their own, without strings or frame transitions. The man who claimed to be Andy began to shed his identity like skin. His clothes unraveled. His skin took on a rubbery sheen. His fingers fused. He started becoming a toy piece by piece. In the background, bats flitted through a broken window that hadn't been there before. A skeleton, not Halloween style, but surgical, anatomical, sat in a rocking chair where Bo Peep usually stood. It watched, occasionally tilting its skull as though considering the man's transformation. A witch appeared in the mirror. Not green-skinned or cackling, just a woman in black robes with too many teeth. She didn't speak. She just held up a marionette that looked exactly like former U.S. President George W. Bush. The puppet's face was solemn, reverent. Its mouth did not move, but a low voice echoed across the room. Freedom is knowing who you are, without strings. Then the puppet burst into flames. The toys clapped. The ending. Or something else. By now I wasn't sure who I was watching. The man had fully turned into a blank plastic figure. No features, just a smooth, faceless toy. The toys gathered around and began whispering into its joints. Buzz turned to the camera. His voice was now layered with static and something deeper, like many voices sharing one throat. This was the pilot. Before you knew. Before they made us lie. Then the screen went black, but the audio remained for 30 more seconds. A strange, wet clicking sound. Then this. Toys don't know. WHO owns WHO. The tape ejected on its own. Smoking.